Hello, everyone, and I'm hoping everyone is having a good and prosperous day. Uh, I wanted to talk to you guys briefly about the dispatching service that we offer and the logistics industry as a whole, um, with the focus on dispatching. A lot of people don't understand the dynamics that's involved in the logistics industry. They just see a semi truck and they really don't give it a second thought. Before I got into this industry, I would see trucks pass me all the time, and I really didn't give it any type of consideration except, wow, that's a big truck passing me by. I did not think about the cargo that they're carrying. Where did they get the cargo from? Where are they headed with that particular load? And how many miles is the driver going to have to drive to deliver that load? You never think about those things until you're actually working in that particular field. And a lot of people have the desire. They know the money that's there in the trucking industry, but they just do not know how to crack the industry or how they can find their place in the trucking industry. And that's what our program is designed to do. Is this It's designed to show you that you can do exactly this, and you can make 68,000 to $100,000 a year from the comforts of your home, uh, or wherever you are in the truck dispatching industry. People want you to think that it's next to impossible to break into the industry or to do certain things within the industry, and that's with anything in life, period. Most people that are successful at doing something do not want to tell you how they did it, uh, for whatever reason that may be. But we have designed a course, and the course is available on our website, which is called theperfectdispatcher.com, which tells you how, with no experience at all, how to break into the dispatching industry. And if you would, let me briefly show you um, what some of the courses are that we actually offer, what that entails. When you uh, take one of our courses are designed not just to give you an overview of the dispatching world, but it's to teach you how to dispatch. It's not to introduce you to dispatching. It's not to uh, give you an overview of what it's like. It's designed to teach you how to be a effective dispatcher, and to make money at the craft. That's the whole point of it all. So let me show you a little bit, just a little of what our courses are like. Okay, so module one, when you actually purchase our dispatching course, and the good thing about purchasing our dispatching course is this carries over into whatever career field you would be interested in getting into, because most dispatching jobs are going to require that you have some dispatching experience and some knowledge of how logistics works, and some knowledge of the different tools and softwares and applications that are used in the logistics industry or in the dispatching field. For instance, most industries will want you to have a working knowledge of how to operate TMS. Some industries want you to know, and they track their drivers and they input their different information in the system called ITS. And then they want you to know how to navigate yourself through the different load boards, and how to track your drivers, and how to track the cargo, how to do loaded calls, how to do arrivals, how to do empty calls, and things of that nature. They're going to want you to know how to do all of this. And if you know how to do these things, you become more of a valuable asset to that particular company, and they're more tempted, and they're more readily hot, uh, apt to hire you. And the dispatching industry, you can make anywhere from 21 to $28 an hour. So it just depends. But when you take our dispatching course, these are some of the things you will learn. So let me break this down. And I'm sharing my screen with you so you can actually take a look at some of the things that we are offering you. All right, brother, take care now. Some of the things that we are offering you guys. So let's take a peek. So, in module one, we talk about the roles of a different dispatcher and a broker. What exactly are the roles of a dispatcher? What is the role of a broker? Because they're two separate entities. Dispatching is not brokering. If you are a dispatcher, you do not have the authorization and you do not have the licensing and the different insurances and the different bonds that is required of a broker. So you cannot act in the capacity of a broker. So those are two different entities. And so that's the first thing you need to learn because their duties are sort of similar in a lot of aspects, but it comes with two different sets of responsibilities and two different sets of accountabilities. So, in our modules, in our training academy, you will learn the difference between a dispatcher and a broker and what the roles are. Now, if we keep continuing to module two, you will learn the different types of authority. There are different types of authority that the government gives you, and they regulate both. There is your an authority to be a carrier, which requires a DOT and MC number, and then there's authority to be a broker or a facilitator, which in turn itself requires a MC number. So you learn the different aspects of the industry and what each entity requires. And we make sure that you learn this particular information with clarity. The different types of trailers that are out there, we make sure that you learn this. For instance, when you click on our modules, this is what you get. Thank you for joining us for module two. And in this particular module, we will be discussing the different types of trucks and trailers that are frequently or most often used in the industry. Um, and you will find there is a variety of trailers, and they are cargo specific. So whatever the customer is intending to transport, that is the type of trailer that we will look for when it comes to dispatching loads to different drivers. So without any further ado, let's get into module two. So that is similar to what you will get with us. And we break down the different types of trucks that are out there, that ones that you will primarily see on the road that are transporting the cargo. So we break down everything in depth. So let's go on to module four, where we're talking about billing accessorials, where there's different type of uh, equipment that the driver needs in order to uh, transport certain freight, like tarps, ramps, uh, dunnage, load levelers, different types of padding, and things like that. So you learn different types of chain and straps and things like that. So you learn all of that in module four, what entails in that. You jump down here to module five, and it talks about something that is very, very pertinent in in the trucking industry. It talks about hours of service, and we break this down. This is a difficult thing to understand sometime. Drivers that have been driving for 6 months to a year still have difficulty with their hours of service. So this is something that we break down in depth. We go over it with you, and by the time you leave us, we make sure you understand what is meant by the hours of service as far as the trucking industry is concerned. Module six tells you how it talks about the load boards, and we dab into specific load boards. We show you actually how to navigate through those load boards. And let me give you an example of what I mean by we teach you how to navigate through different load boards. Okay. Um, Different load boards have different functions. And the load boards are generally where the brokers and the shippers go to post their loads that they have that need transporting. So let me give you an idea of what I'm talking about when I say we teach you how to navigate through the different load boards. Okay. This is a particular load board that a lot of drivers and a lot of dispatchers use. Um, and it teaches you how to navigate. We teach you, rather, how to navigate through the different load boards, how to look for loads, how to negotiate rates, how to uh, figure out weight, how to figure out deadhead miles from the origin destination. We also teach you how to calculate fuel mileage, and we teach you about fuel surcharges and different things like that. So, for instance, over here would be the rate that the load. An example: this load is paying 4,700 to the driver. So this load is paying $6.29 a mile. It picks up on the 17th. Over here, it tells you who the broker is. Over here, it tells you the type of equipment needed to transport this load, which is a step deck. Over here, it tells you the origin city, the destination city, and over here, it tells you the total distance that this load travels from the origin to the destination. And the total is 747 miles. It's at $6.29 a mile, and that's how we get to $4,700 for the load. This is a really, really good paying load. The load is only 15,000 pounds, right? So there's got to be something uh, that I need to be conscious of when it comes to this load. Because what I like about this particular load board, it tells you not only the posted rate, it also tells you the rate you should be negotiating for. And we teach you how to understand the load board. We teach you how to have negotiating power based upon what you're seeing in the load board. Okay, so there's got to be something peculiar about this load, and I see what it is. Okay, I see one of the things it is. Okay, this particular load picks up. It's paying $4,700 to go 747 miles. So that's $6.29 per mile that this particular load is paying. Right? It picks up on the 17th, and you have a window to pick it up. What I mean by a window, it's not an appointment time. You can pick it up on February the 17th, anywhere from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. So there's a pickup window. But you can also deliver it on the 19th, and that's a set appointment. So we teach you how to know the difference in all those things, because those are things that you have to accurately relay to the driver. So this particular load is a good paying load. There may be more uh, uh, things going on with this load that makes it such a good paying load. I'm not sure, but it's asking for a Conestoga trailer. That's one thing. It's asking for a Conestoga trailer, and we show you what those different types of trailers are. What I just said is probably a foreign language to you when I said it's going to require a Conestoga trailer. So we teach you all those things. We don't just give you training material. We actually train you. We actually hold your hand through the entire process, and we're actually your support system after you have completed the course and received your certification. Okay, so in the load board, it tells you all the dynamics of the load, the weight, the commodity, any type of accessorials that is needed. This one is requiring a Conestoga trailer. It also tells you whether or not it's a quick pay. It tells you the broker's MC number, and you're able to do. We also have a system in place where you can do a credit check on the broker to make sure that that broker doesn't have any particular claims filed against them, and to make sure that that broker is a broker that's worthy of doing business with. So all of those things are sometimes things that you don't learn. You cannot learn all that from just picking up a course, or signing on to a course. There's no way you can learn all that by just doing that on your own. Module 7, we go more in depth into load boards, because there's different type of load boards. You have 1, 2, 3, you have TQL, you have DAT, you have truck stop, uh, you have direct freight. There's all type of load boards. There are the types of load boards that you can push a few buttons and book your load. There are type of load boards that you have to call and get more information in order to book a load. I always like to call, and I always like to negotiate rates and operate from a position of strength. So that's module 1 through 7. Then we jump over here, guys, and go through module 8, which talks about a TWIC card. What purpose does a TWIC card serve? What is it, and how does it benefit the driver? Module 9, we talk about hazmat loads, uh, and we go through that in depth. Module 10, we talking about hauling oversized loads in the permit process. When you're talking about hauling oversized loads or overdimensional freight, that is a totally different dynamic, and we teach you what's all involved in that. What's considered a legal height? What's the minimum uh, 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 overhangs and things like that that have been set by the government, and also by the local state entities, because those when you start dealing with oversized loads and permits, and you're dealing with both entities, so to speak, because the government may have their set of regulations, then the state comes on top of that and compounds with their own set of regulations. So Module 11, we talk about what is carrier setup packets. What is a carrier setup packet? Because you cannot just go out here thinking you can be a dispatcher. There's and make agreements with truck drivers, and that those agreements are going to be honored. No, there's carrier packets that have to be set in place. There's carrier packets that the brokers are going to require, or that the shippers are going to require. And so we teach you about that. We teach you how to complete a carrier packet. We teach you all the documentation that's required in a carrier packet. Rate confirmations, module 12, we talk about that. What is a rate confirmation? So everything that you have talked about in the dispatch with the broker, those things eventually have to come into writing, and you, or if you're representing the driver, then you sign. If not, the driver signs it, and some brokers want the driver to sign it regardless. So we teach you all those things. We teach you how to adequately look at a rate confirmation, and what you need to be trained to try to look for. What are BOLs and PODs, bills of ladings, and uh, proof of deliveries? Some shippers, some brokers only require BOLs. Some want BOLs and PODs. What's the difference? What needs to be on a BOL, which is a bill of lading? We teach you those things. What identifying things need to be on there? If you get stopped by a DOT and you need to do an inspection, what are the things they're going to be asking for, or looking at when they ask you for the BOLs? We teach you that. So we not only teach you what's involved in doing your job, but we also teach you how the things that are involved in a trucker doing his job, because those things affect you directly. Um, how to bill additional charges. And when we're talking about additional charges, we're talking about things like detention pay, layover pay, TONA, which stands for truck order not used. We give you the in-depth meaning of those things and what the standard rates are for those additional type of charges, and when the driver should expect to be paid for those types of charges. Um, in module 15, we talk about invoicing and factoring, and how to properly submit invoices, and what to look for if the driver has to submit invoices to you, what needs to be on the invoice. Factoring, we teach you about that process, what that is all about. What's involved in factoring, who pays the money, what are the fees that are involved in factoring, and is it advantageous for the driver or not, because there's pros and cons to factoring. Okay. So that's module 8 through 15, guys. Now then we jump over here. We're not done. You think we're done? We're not done. No, we have designed a comprehensive training course for you. And this is not just videos, this is not just PDFs. We treat you as if you're in a classroom. If you choose to do it by yourself, I can't stop you. That's your business. You will have paid for the course. That's your right. We encourage you to set aside classroom time for us a week, so that we, anytime in your schedule, and we work with whatever schedule that you have. If you work evening shift and need to do it, and if you work day shift and need to do it after you get off work, that's fine. If you work day shift, need to do it in the evening, that's fine. If you work evening, need to do it in the day. I mean, that's fine. If you need to do it on the weekends, we work out whatever. We have enough agents that are employed here where we can meet the needs of our customers. Module 16 talks about starting your own dispatching company. And it goes more into the freight broker side than the dispatcher. Remember, they're both connected. So you need to know the responsibilities of a freight broker because that's who you're getting your loads from for your drivers primarily. Sometime you'll be getting them from the shipper, but to be honest with you, you'll be dealing. And that's another thing. We operate on a code of honesty here at Elic Logistics. You'll be primarily dealing with brokers. You will not be at the level where you can talk to shippers directly. Uh, so you'll be dealing with brokers and load boards. Okay. Module 17, finding the shippers. Now, once you progress to being a broker, what are the steps you have to do? What are the things you need to know in order to find shippers to provide freight for your drivers and for your trucks? Okay. Module 18 talks about getting through the gatekeeper. This is a very good module because every shipping company, every major distributor, every major manufacturer, they all have a gatekeeper, somebody whose sole responsibility is to make sure that you do not bother the shipping manager, the logistics coordinator, that their calls are filtered. So we teach you how to navigate through that and how to get to the decision maker so that you can grow your business that way. CMV, gross vehicle weight, commercial vehicle gross vehicle weight. We talk about that, and that is primarily something that the driver has to deal with, but it directly affects you because a driver will call you and tell you he's overweight, and you got to know how to navigate from there. You can't be lost. There's a such thing as being overweight on your steers. There's possibility of being overweight on your drives, and then there's the possibility of being overweight on your trailer tandems. So, and there's a possibility of being overweight on your gross weight. So you've got to know where. You've got to understand how that works, the dynamic. If they're overweight on their gross weight, then you need to understand what needs to be done from that point. Uh, a lot of times, the driver does not understand himself if he's overweight on the steers or gross or the rear tandems, how to shift that weight. You would think they would, but sometimes us as drivers, sometimes we are so caught up in the moment that it slips our mind. Oh, maybe if I slide my tandems up, or maybe if I slide my tandems back, I can shift that weight. So there's things that we teach you as the dispatcher that you can troubleshoot certain problems sometimes and minimize the damage. Overcoming shipper objections, module 20. We teach you uh, how to get around the nose. Uh, and we teach you how to keep plugging away. If you get a no, we try to teach you that that's not the end of the sale. That's not where it ends at that no, unless that's the way you make it. They may be saying no at the moment. I always take it when someone tells me no, you're telling me no at the moment. That doesn't mean no forever because that my door is still open, especially when it comes to logistics. So we teach you how to uh, take these objections and kind of set yourself up with that for potential business later on down the road. Module 21 teach you how to communicate with shippers. The way you communicate with a driver is different than how you would communicate with a broker and a shipper. Uh, they're two different entities with two different sets of concerns. Uh, they're working for the same objective, but they have two different sets of concerns. Okay, so we teach you how to communicate with the driver. We teach you how to communicate with the brokers and the shippers. We teach you what each entity is looking for. Module 22, how to find trucks. That's one of the most difficult thing about dispatching. How to grow your business, how to recruit drivers. We teach you how to do that. We teach you where to do that. If you are interested in becoming a dispatcher, if that is your goal, you have business out there. You don't have to run around and beg people and ask people for business. If you've ever heard of a truck stop, if you haven't, you need to Google it and find out what one is. But in most bigger towns, there's what's called a truck stop. And there are major truck stops such as Love's, TNA, Petro, Flying J, uh, Pilot, and then there's a lot of mom and pops, and then there's others like the Sap brothers and things like that. And there's a ton of truck stops where truckers stop to do their rest breaks. They stop there to eat. They stop there to take a shower. And sometimes you can have upwards of 300 trucks parked out there at any time. You don't have to run around looking for business. And I would guarantee you, out of 300 drivers that are out there, 70% are disgruntled. That is not an exaggeration. There is no way you can make a truck driver happy. I don't care how much money you give them. I don't care what you do. We're always looking for a better opportunity. And if one comes our way, we're going to entertain it. So we teach you where and how to find business, where and how to find trucks, how to recruit drivers. Module 23 teaches you about types of lanes and bidding, how to bid on different lanes, and the different things you need to know when you're approaching a shipper and you're making a bid on a lane. Because the last thing you want to do is shoot yourself in the foot. Uh, I give you an example. Construction workers, when someone gives someone a bid on building a house or building a business, you know, uh, when you give them that bid, that's supposed to be after you have done your diligence, after your due diligence, after you've factored in your supplies, after you factored in your labor and your manpower, after you factored in all the miscellaneous variables that could come up. You present that particular client with his bid, or and then you go from there. And if that client accepts that bid, most of the time you're locked into that bid. And construction workers or contractors have gotten pretty smart these days, and they'll add little loopholes in there that talks about unexpected costs and things like that, where they have a recourse. But for the most part, when you give a bid on lanes, you're locked into that, and that's what that particular shipper, to a certain degree, you're locked into it. Uh, and that's what that shipper is going to be expecting. So you cannot shoot yourself in the foot. You need to know what you're doing if when the time arises for you to start doing that. Types of broker packets in module 24. We talk about that. What is double brokering? Module 25. This is one of the most important modules in the whole dispatching course, because it teaches you the legalities of being a dispatcher, the legalities of being a broker, the legalities of being a carrier, how these entities are separate, and how you must represent yourself in each entity. It teaches you what double brokering is, which is an illegal tactic which carries stiff penalties, fines, and possible imprisonment. So we teach you how to stay clear of that. We teach you how to be a legitimate legal business and how to function that way. Okay, it's very important. That is one of the most important modules in this whole training course, because you want to operate with dignity, you want to operate with a sense of pride, and to know that you're doing things in a legal and a board manner. Invoice submitting, we teach you how to do that. If you have drivers and you're responsible as a dispatcher for their invoices, for getting their invoices to the broker, to the shipper, to the factoring company, we teach you how to do that. And if you're doing those things, those are separate from dispatching. You should be charging for those things. We teach you how to do that as well, and what the rates are that you should reasonably be charging. Starting your own brokerage, we tell you what's involved in doing that. Is it possible for you? Yes, it is. A lot of people don't want to tell you it is, but it is. You just have to have certain bondings, certain insurances. You have to operate with a certain type of authority and be given certain permissions, but you definitely can do brokering if that's what you so choose to do. Why are brokers so disliked in the industry? This is a good one. In this module, we actually look at some different videos and some different perspectives, and we get the different opinions of different truck drivers. I'll give you an example. We have some videos in here that actually, let's see.
All right, guys,
Um,
this gives
hold on. I'll give you a little bit of
and
what this.
Are nothing more
Let's see.
than
for ourselves. All right, so let's get
I'll give
started.
you an
are
example of how
nothing
truck
more
drivers think.
than middlemen that
This is
stand
what they think
between
about
the
brokers.
shipper and the trucking company or the truck driver. And these guys have really been able to dig in and establish themselves in the trucking industry in the last 20 years. And it's unbelievable because they're non-essential. They've just been able to worm their way in there somehow, and they take huge chunks of profit for themselves. They take as much money off the rate, the freight rate, as they think they can get away with. And they steal millions of dollars from truck drivers every year. A load broker's goal, his number one goal, is to take as much money as he possibly can get away with out of the rate so the load moves as cheaply as possible. He pockets as much as he possibly can. The truck moves for as little as it possibly can, and sometimes at a loss. These guys are non-governed. There are no laws governing the transparency of them right now. We've been pushing for them for years, but right now they just have a license to steal money, and steal money they do. The number four biggest scam.
Okay, so we give you um, different perspectives of that. Okay, we give you both sides. There's different. Those are two vastly different opinions. The opinion of a lot of drivers, I would say most. I think I'd be safe in saying most drivers have a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to brokers. So we try to give you the facts. We try to give you both sides of the uh, of the sphere, so to speak, and we try to help you make informed decisions and how to uh, navigate your way through different opinions and how to help the driver understand where the broker is coming from and their responsibilities, and try to help the broker understand everything the driver has to go through, because it's a big disconnect right there. Um, both sides tend to point the finger at the other, and both sides tend to think that the other uh, is not doesn't have a full plate of responsibilities, that they have it easier than they do. They each think that the other has it easier. So we try to give you both perspectives, and try to be give you the best type of information. Now, right here, we have what's called our dispatch training packet. Now, let me see if I can find that to tell you what all type of information comes in that. So let's see if we can locate that. Here it is. So in some of our PDFs, let's go here so you can actually see what I'm doing. Uh, okay. Now, this is some of our training material that we provide you. So we give you the videos, we give you the classroom training with the instruction where you can actually do a question and answer. Uh, any questions you have, we're in a classroom setting. Your video will be up here. You're able to talk to me or our agents, and we treat you like you're in a classroom. We ask you questions. We make sure you're understanding things, and we make sure you're getting what you're paying for. That's important to us. So in the PDFs here, it talks about dispatching, freight brokering, and things like that. It breaks it down for you. It talks about the different types of authority, the carrier authority, the broker authority. It talks about the two numbers, the DOT number, the MC number. It talks about the different trucks, the different trailers that are out there, the dry van, the flatbed, the Conestoga trailer, and the step deck trailer. It actually gives you uh, diagrams and images of what these particular trailers look like. The RGN, which is the gooseneck, the oversized load, overdimensional loads. We get into all that. tarping loads, what's involved in that, what type of cargo needs to be tarped, and what extra pay the driver receives for doing those duties, and um, what type of tarps does he have to have, what different sizes and different things like that. These are more accessorials. You have load levelers, you have load ramps. Um, so we talk about all the different type of accessorials. You have coil racks, dunnage. The purpose of that to prevent freight from getting damaged and from uh, the possibility of load shift. We talk about all those things. Okay. We talk about the hours of service in depth because I want you to understand how that is an everyday aspect of a trucker's life. Okay, and that's very important that you understand that. The electronic logging devices, where the driver has to change duty statuses, and how that electronic logging device tracks every movement, everything that that truck does, and what a DOT officer is going to look for once he does an inspection or once a driver is pulled over. Uh, the different load boards, we teach you about that's a particular load board that is used, how to navigate through the load board. So we not only have uh, videos, we have PDF material that backs up the videos. Okay. um, so we talk here again, it's talking about the different load boards and how to navigate through them. Here it's going back talking about a twit card. So everything in the modules is backed up by a PDF. Okay. uh, Hazardous materials, hazmat. It talks about the different classifications of hazardous material and things like that. Okay. Oversized loads. It goes more in depth about that, the legal limits and things like that. And it tells you the legal limits of particular states. Uh, every state does not have the same legal height limit. So it tells you by color code what the state requirements are. Overhang, it tells you what the minimum legal limit is for overhang and things like that. Permits, it talks about the permit process, who has to have a permit, and how do you go about obtaining permits. Carrier setup packets, here's a PDF that walks you through how to set up carrier packets. Rate confirmation, this particular uh, slide tells you what to look for in a rate confirmation, how to fill out a rate con and have your driver fill it out. BOLs and PODs. BOL, bill of lading. POD, proof of delivery. What those actually look like and how they have to be properly filled out. Okay. Additional charges. There again, it's talking about detention pay, layover pay, truck order not used. These are things that you will definitely have to deal with because these are things that are ultra important to a driver. These are some of the number one issues you will face as a dispatcher. Who pays these things? When are these things paid? And what information that you need to relay back to the driver. Invoicing and factoring, it talks about that. It breaks that down. Okay. Pre-trip inspection. This is very important. This is something you won't have to do, but it's something that the truck driver has to do on a daily basis without fail. So it teaches you everything that that truck driver has to look for on his in doing an inspection on his vehicle. It also tells you that what's the most commodities that come out of particular areas in the country. It talks about the different zones, time zones. That's very important when you're dispatching. You have to realize that California is not the same as New York. Okay, so you got to understand the different time zones and how that affects your dispatching. Gross vehicle weight limit. It talks about that here. It breaks the United States down between the Northeast, the South, the Midwest, the West, and we really call this the Southeast, to be honest with you. So it breaks all of those things down for you guys. Um, and we think all of that is very, very important to your training and to your overall growth as a dispatcher. So we not only give you those training materials, we teach you that information. We teach you in a way where you're able to go back and teach someone else, where you're able to adequately go back and tell someone, uh, maybe not in a mastery type way, but you're able to help your employees if you decide to hire somebody to help you with this. We teach you how to structure a business. We teach you how to bring out the best in the qualities of those that you have working either with you or for you. So this dispatching course, guys, is something that you don't want to miss. Uh, Go to our website. It's listed here, theperfectdispatcher.com, because right now we have the dispatching course where you can pay for it in small installment payments. We realize that everyone does not have the ability to invest a big large sum into their future. But if you are adamant about bettering yourself, then we have designed a way for you to do that. So we have designed and created it where there's installment payments, and also as of right now with our dispatching course, we also have a free laptop that comes with the course. Once you purchase the course, you will also get a free laptop that will help you store all your materials, your PDFs, your videos, so you can access this stuff at any time. And you can basically run your business from that laptop. You don't need anything else. A laptop and an internet connection. That's it. We help you. We have a list of working brokers that we have, a list of working shippers that we work with. We have a list of drivers. We have someone that works here on a continual basis, and all they do is try to recruit drivers. That's all they do. Pound the phones all day. Pound the phones all day, making call after call after call, trying to recruit drivers. So we have a full staff that is designed to cover every aspect of logistics. We have a quality control person that actually listens to all the calls of our agents to make sure that they are following protocols and giving our drivers the best when they're offering them loads and things like that. So we not only teach the course, we also dispatch as well. And we teach you how to do all of this. Okay. So that's what's involved, guys. That's it. That's what's involved in our dispatching course. As you can see, it's a lot, and if you try to do it on your own, it can be a little overwhelming. But that's why we're here to help you through it. So when you actually buy our course, you actually buy us as well. We're with you through the training. We train you. We ask for a week to train you, at least 6 to 8 hours. We will block out days and schedules for you according to your availability. And we ask that you expend at least a week for us, whether it's a week straight or a week in 2 days here, 1 day here, 2 days on the weekend, whatever. That's according to your schedule. We work that out. Don't worry about that. But we ask that you're actually paying. That's what you're paying for, is the class time, so that you can be properly trained. And then if you apply for another job somewhere, you've got the certification from us, which shows all the tools that you're able to use, and you can say, yeah, I've got experience. I got experience as a truck dispatcher. I ran my own business, or I contracted with a particular company, and we learned how to dispatch truck. I know what the truck driver's looking for. I know how to negotiate rates. I know how to track loads. I know how to uh, call brokers, call shippers. I know how to do all of this. I know how to recruit drivers. I know how to do all of this. So you actually have experience. So when you fill out that application and want to go work somewhere else, and they ask you, do you have experience? Yeah, I got experience. Yeah, you do. And you can say that legitimately with a clear conscience. Okay. So all of that is what we provide in our course, guys. Go to theperfectdispatcher.com, and there's a full price that you can pay for the dispatching course. And there are, if you want to make the installment, the weekly, bi-weekly, monthly installments, at least you can get started. You can start taking the course material. You can start your training with me. Immediately when you make your first installment payment, you can start your training. We get you scheduled. We get you the links for different things. We start scheduling your classroom time, and that gets you on your way. And the quicker you get out of this, the quicker you can go on and grow your own business or get you a job working in another dispatching company. Uh, and be on your way to developing your future. Okay. So those are all the things you can look forward to. Theperfectdispatcher.com. Go to our website, guys, and we will talk to you later. I hope you got some benefit out of this introduction to what how you can become a dispatcher with zero experience.